Hey, Adrienne, did you hear about this?
Activists filed ballot measure to legalize psilocybin mushrooms in California. It disappeared. But yes, I heard about that a few days ago.
Why didn't you talk about it in a video?
Because I was too busy making videos about what happened when PG&E shut off our power.
So do you have any thoughts you would like to share on California legalizing mushrooms?
Yeah, if California legalizes shrooms and continues to let PG&E turn off our power whenever they want to, we'll have a great opportunity to do shrooms the way Terrence McKenna recommended, in silent darkness. Into Arcata, California. Get a video. Here we are, as you can see, at a sushi restaurant.
That's yummy fish.
We're yet again at Sushi Top in Arcata, California.
Why you leave?
This is what's left of our sushi.
After Eugene dumped a little bit.
Yeah. It's
They
gluten-free
put
soy
soy
sauce.
sauce in here.
I will when we get our sushi. I ordered more sushi.
We rock and roll.
She put it on the table.
Too big?
I'm going to
And
share
there
one.
is the roll that I just ordered. I still love this restaurant's bathroom. Here it is again. I love this sink, even though it does need to be declogged and probably cleaned.
Bottle?
We are now
Okay,
back at my house.
What is it?
Go buy this. Don't you dare tell my loud, okay?
Okay.
What are you buying?
We are just we're going. We're just buying this.
Oh.
I'm not.
Not what?
Oh wait a minute. Wait a minute. Give me a minute.
I have received this catalog in the mail. Can I see the front of it? It's from Amazon.
No.
And what's interesting about it is there are no prices on any of the items at all. See, no prices.
I'm buying this, okay? Don't you tell him. I wasn't pointing at that. I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying that. What are you talking about? I wasn't saying that. I was totally not saying that.
What are you looking at on your phone right now?
Forstner bits.
Forstner bits?
Yes.
That's what he's looking at while he drinks his... What kind of beer is that? Dave's Pale Ale. Forstner Bits.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna check the news.
Cool.
Hey, Adrienne, did you hear about this?
Activists filed ballot measure to legalize psilocybin mushrooms in California. It disappeared. But yes, I heard about that a few days ago.
Why didn't you talk about it in a video?
Because I was too busy making videos about what happened when PG&E shut off our power.
So do you have any thoughts you would like to share on California legalizing mushrooms?
Yeah, if California legalizes shrooms and continues to let PG&E turn off our power whenever they want to, we'll have a great opportunity to do shrooms the way Terrence McKenna recommended, in silent darkness. Seriously, I'm gonna pull up this article on my computer and give you my serious opinion on it right now.
That's the best way to do it.
So here's the article. This news has only been reported, as far as I know, by Marijuana Moment so far. Activists file ballot measure to legalize psilocybin mushrooms in California. This article says that Decriminalize California previously filed an initiative to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms, but now they have filed another initiative that not only legalizes them, but also legalizes sales, and according to this article, includes a relief for people who have previously been convicted of offenses involving psilocybin. Well, that's good. The article also says that they realized that people would continue to be prosecuted if their initiative didn't legalize sales. Which is totally correct, and that has been one of my issues. What cat is what?
The one that's like got the messed up eye. He's thinking about coming in.
Let him in. As I was saying, if they legalize or decriminalize the use and the possession and the production of a substance, but don't legalize sales or distribution, then how are people going to get the substance? If it's legal for them to have, if they didn't produce it themselves, they must have gotten it from someone, okay? So when a substance is legalized or decriminalized to possess and use, but not legalized or decriminalized to sell, people are going to have to break the law in order to be able to obey the law, basically. And that doesn't really make any sense. And in Denver, what happened when they decriminalized shrooms for possession and use, but didn't decriminalize sales, is that the DEA just recently ended up going after a guy who was selling them, basically to scapegoat him. They basically went to great lengths to scapegoat this guy. There's the article about that. The DEA went to great lengths using news articles and social media to arrest a guy who was growing and selling shrooms, who had been anonymously interviewed in news articles, who apparently had not been careful enough to hide his identity. Apparently they had showed pictures of him and his apartment that were similar to pictures that he had posted on Facebook, which allowed the DEA to track him down and arrest him. They're basically scapegoating this guy because they're angry that Denver decriminalized shrooms. And because it would make them look really bad if they went after somebody who was just using them or possessing them, they had to go after somebody who was selling them to the people who are now legally allowed to use them or possess them. So I think it's great that California is not only going to decriminalize shrooms, but legalize them. And I think it's great that they sensibly decided that their ballot measure should legalize not only the possession, use, and production of them, but also sales of them. Because, as the cop said when he arrested me for smoking a joint with my friend when I was a teenager, after they found the roach of the joint in my friend's pocket and no marijuana in my possession, and they charged me with possession and distribution of marijuana, and the lawyer said, "How could you charge her with possession if you didn't find any marijuana in her possession?" The cop said, "Well, if she did distribute it, she must have possessed it before then." So, in order to possess something, you either have to have produced it yourself or someone has to have distributed it to you. And I would also like to say something about the word possession. When you have property that you own, that is your property, you own it. Like, I am in possession of this shirt because I own it. And if I was in possession of this shirt and did not own it, that would mean that I had stolen it. This shirt is my property. It's not just this thing that I possess. So, if you're like a police officer who just became a police officer and the other police officers are explaining to you what your job is, and they say, okay, if you find somebody with drugs, they're in possession of those drugs, you can take those drugs away. If you're a rational person, you should say, well, if they're in possession of them, how did they get them? Either it's their own property or they stole it. If they stole it, you should be able to take it away for the purpose of giving it back to its rightful owner. If they produced it themselves or bought it from somebody else or somebody else gave it to them, then it's like this shirt, their property, and you don't have any right to take it away from them. Just because a politician decided that if you have a pink shirt, it's no longer your property, it's just something in your possession, and the police can walk in and they can say, oh, you're wearing a blue shirt? That's your property. You own it. Oh, you have a pink shirt? You don't own that. You're in possession of that, and that gives us the right to take it away. That doesn't mean that that makes sense. That doesn't mean that if someone instructs you to enforce that law based on that reasoning, that you have to, like, listen to them. You should be able to think for yourself. And that's a big problem with the war on drugs, because laws should be rational. And when you tell a police officer to enforce a law, the law should be rational, because once police officers start enforcing laws that are not based on reason and laws that violate people's rights, then you can no longer count on their ability to think for themselves and act rational in any situation. And that's why there's so much police violence and so many police shootings, because the police officers are not trained to be rational, because they can't be trained to be rational if part of their job is enforcing laws that don't make sense, laws that violate people's rights. If you want the police to always respect people's rights, then all the laws that they're enforcing have to be, like, constitutional. And they have to respect, not violate, people's rights. And I don't know what kind of relief this law is going to have for people who have previously been convicted of offenses involving psilocybin, but I would like to say something about that. According to this article from the Los Angeles Times that was published a few years ago, but has recently been widely shared on social media, the cost of keeping someone in prison in California is more than the cost of sending somebody to Harvard University. In my opinion, I think they should send most people convicted of crimes in California to Harvard University. They'd probably be much less likely to commit another crime if they went to Harvard than if they went to prison in California. Maybe they could send the criminals to Harvard and they could have like an ankle bracelet that is like the ankle bracelets they put on people when they're on house arrest. They can only go to their dorm and go to class for like the length of their prison sentence. Anyway, on a more serious note, I hope that the law that they're going to pass to legalize shrooms in California will actually release people from prison who are in prison for them and pay some kind of money back to people who have been arrested for them, who've had to pay lawyers' fees or fines, or who've gone to prison but who have already gotten out. And with that said, I am going to now end this video. Please like this video, share this video, watch my other videos, subscribe to my channel, and if you would like to help me out to make more videos, please donate money to me on Patreon and other sites. Bye!